Okay. Hey everyone. With me today is guest, artist, creator, visionary, healer, Nik Michaels. How are you doing today, Nick?
Good, man. How are you doing today? Pleasure meeting
Uh,
you.
yeah, same here. I'm doing all right. This is another day.
Yeah, I
Uh,
feel you.
yeah. Yeah. Marco V193 connected me to you. You're bandmates with him, or you've done music with him.
Yeah, I work on music with him. Yeah, definitely.
No, that's cool. And are you like self-taught, or have you grown up like playing music or
I'm definitely self-taught. I did go to school for music production though, so I'm pretty grateful for that. That I got the opportunity. I got to use my military GI Bill, um,
mm,
and I didn't and they took care of everything and they gave me all the tools that I needed to succeed and tools that I didn't even know that I needed at the time. It's pretty dope.
yeah. No, that's cool. So you just went to college for it and got all that. And let me see here. Yeah, I was checking out like the music you make because you have it like on your Instagram,
Yeah, definitely.
and your link tree is pretty diverse. You have some sort of like kind of chill
Right.
electronic music, and then I saw some with like a rapper type thing going on there.
Right.
So
Yeah, I'm kind of all over the place when it comes to creating music. I don't just stick to like one genre. I kind of get like, I'll go to like I don't know, a different genre or something, just kind of listen to it for a little bit or think about it a little bit, and then I'll just start making some of that music, and then I'll kind of move on to that and go into like EDM or like hip hop or like
mhm.
lo-fi or just different, yeah, different types of music.
And what type of like music? What were your influences growing up? Was it your parents, your peers? What kind of music like were you listening to growing up, and who kind of like introduced you to it?
Honestly, the last thing that I can, or like the most like best memory that I have from like that. Do you remember back in the day when they used to have those like 12 CDs for 1 cent, like those
Oh
little?
yeah,
They used to come in, you just get, it's like it's not 1 cent, you know what I mean? But or buy one get 12 free or something like that.
yeah,
I
yeah.
remember like I used to always just like mess with my parents just to try to get it, and I remember they did it one time in order, and they let me like pick a CD or something like that, and then I think we did it like three other times. But I remember like one of the first CDs that I can remember buying was Nirvana Nevermind,
Hmm.
and that's just like a CD that I listened to like all the way through. But there's a lot of like different like that's how I found them. I would look through the little thing and check mark the little box that I wanted, and my mom would like let me have like one or two CDs, and I started building my collection that way. And I just kind of would just get lost in the music and just manifest that someday that I'm going to be making music and doing the stuff that they're doing or something like that.
Yeah, no, I remember those 12 CDs for 1 cent. I remember ripping that. I feel like I ripped them off. I would change my name like just a
Oh
little
yeah,
bit and
yeah.
get so many
Oh
CDs,
yeah,
and
man.
you never had to pay them. They just billed you,
Right.
for it.
He probably still didn't pay him. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah, no, I didn't. I had a ton of I think I got like Corn and Maya.
yeah,
I don't know, a
dude.
bunch of different music because
Sure,
I grew up with an older sister, so a lot of my musical tastes are like Aqua, Ace of Base,
sure.
No
No, I
Doubt.
I mess with that too, man. That was that Ace of Base CD was one of like the second or third CD that I ever got in my life. Like that CD hit hard back in the day, dude. Like,
Yeah.
don't. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, it still does to this day. Like
Oh
sometimes I
yeah.
like forget about it, and I'll just be like, I'm gonna listen to this, and I'm just like, I just can't stop like smiling and just like that's the type of music that I love. It's just like that timeless music that just kind of gives you all those feels. You know what I mean? Like, and I
Hmm.
feel like Ace of Base is one of those bands that definitely kind of brings it.
Yeah. No, definitely. It's good music, and let me see. As far as like right now, I know we're kind of going into this era of like AI generated music
Man,
and AI generated vocals. Like I saw, I don't know if you know Grimes,
I
but
do. Yeah.
yeah, I mean I like her stuff. But she was saying like she would, split her profits if anyone uses her AI voice to make an AI song.
Right.
And I'm just wondering your opinions on that. Like, do you think that's gonna stunt the creativity of music, or it's gonna make it better? Like, what are your thoughts on AI?
Honestly, I was just talking to my partner. I just got back from the gym a little while ago, kind of getting a little reset for myself. But I saw that Google just dropped their AI generator today,
Hmm.
to be allowed for people. So I kind of brought up that point, and I'm just like, I don't know, like music, it's gonna change everything. Like this AI era, or whatever you want to call it, just even with like photos, music, just anything, like it's kind of, I don't know. It's a whole different ball game now, because like people can just type in what they want, BPM, type of genre, how they want things broken up, like hook, chorus, you know what I mean, like
Hmm.
verse and like in time, and just kind of like press a button, man, and then there's the computer just does it, and it's just gonna get smarter. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just gonna make it more like unbelievable, and to me more unauthentic. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So it's
very
it's definitely
synthetic.
like, yeah, synthetic for sure, but it's gonna, like from here on, you're gonna. I feel like in the future that music is all gonna start sounding the same. Do you know what I mean? Like even more so than it does now. And I'm speaking of like top, like top 10, or like the pop, like charts. Like all that
Yeah,
music's kind of, realistically all kind of the same. And I feel like now with that, with the AI stuff, it's going to make it, you know, it's going to make anybody be able to do anything. But the only thing about that is, one thing that I've kind of learned in my musical journey, or just creation journey, being an artist in general, and there's something difference between there's a difference between, like the energy that, like when I'm creating a song, or when I'm creating like art, or if I'm creating jewelry, or any of the, the facets that I go at. I create intentfully, you know what I mean, and I put it out there, and that's like my energy that I want, to be brought into the world, or reciprocated back to me, when I put that out. So
hmm,
it's gonna lose a lot of that. It's gonna have feeling, but almost like numbed feeling, that it's going to be only like it's going to only radiate to like a certain amount of like people. I feel like that, if that makes any sense to you, like it's
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah. Yeah, there's really not gonna be any soul or heart in it.
Right,
It's just
exactly,
it's almost
yep,
mechanic, like
right, yeah. And
yeah,
anybody can do it, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, there's so many of those different AI generators out there that, like you can literally do that with photos and um, bar exams. I saw now you can, you know what I mean? Like there's so much stuff that,
yeah,
like anything I mean, like literally, like it's just gonna start getting more intense and more like, I don't know, Star Trek-y from here on
yeah,
out, dude.
yeah. It's only gonna get smarter as it
Right.
learns.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
no,
can't get dumber. You know what I mean? Like it,
yeah,
it can't, you know what I mean? It's just gonna feed into all of us, our consciousness that we're putting in there, and all of our ideas, and it's just gonna build off of that.
yeah, no, definitely. I kind of feel the same. I mean, I feel like we're gonna have to eventually embrace it because it's the future. But
Right.
you're right. It does. It leaves the soul out of the
For sure.
creation.
Yeah, no soul. Yep.
Even with art, like you said, you're putting your heart into the picture, your
Right.
soul, everything, and or your mind, your feelings, your emotions, and the machine can't really comprehend that. I
True.
don't think so. I mean, maybe
Right.
eventually it can mimic that sort of empathy,
Right.
but
Yeah. I bet you
yeah,
eventually down the road there'll be something like that too, that does that, gets the empathy in the song and stuff like that, down the road.
yeah,
But
yeah,
but
but for
yeah, that's
now,
just nuts. Yeah.
yeah, no, definitely. And I see you talk a lot about we're talking about souls and energy. I don't know if this is like a taboo type of subject to you, but do you believe like in God? Do you believe there's like a higher power? Or do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I definitely like believe that there's a higher power out there. There's something that's like bigger than us, like for sure. You know what I mean? Necessarily what God it is. Like, do I believe that, many gods exist? Probably, but I also do believe that many of those gods are just kind of normal people like you and me, in a sense. You know what I mean? That kind of channel from a bigger source, that, and that's kind of what I believe when it comes to like religion and stuff like that. I don't necessarily think that people's like different religions are wrong. You know, like everybody can have whatever fuels their soul. You know what I mean,
Mhm.
or fuels their belief system or whatever it is that they need to you know have spirituality or anything anything of that nature.
Yeah, whatever gets them through the day. If as
Sure.
long as it's to me, as long as it's not hurting anyone. I mean, of
Right.
course,
Right.
you know, most religions, yeah, they're a bit, you know,
Right.
I don't know, lately angry, you know,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm the same way. Like, you know, it doesn't matter if there's so many gods, one god, no
Right.
god. You can believe whatever you want as long as it makes you a better person
Right.
to the world, you know. No, I completely let's see.
But yeah,
I
like
was
I like it's just a source, man. Like it's all just it's one big like the universe, man. It's like just so big and so abundant and so like just so beautiful, really. And it's just like trying to tap into that and let it kind of come to you naturally. Then trying to doing something because somebody else does it, or doing something because you're trying to spite somebody else, or doing something because it's not really authentic to you. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's kind of almost like a god energy. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
like almost like I'm not saying like every single person can embody that. You know what I mean? But I feel like it's definitely there for the taking if you're in tune or kind of aware of different of a different way of life and a different way of perception of how we see things and how we were taught like to see things, I guess, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, definitely. And I think about that the universe where like the smallest speck of, you know, dirt in the whole cosmos of everything, let alone out of the galaxy or the universe or however far you go to the void. You what do you think about like aliens? I know they're releasing some UFO stuff. Do you think we're alone in this world as far as like alien beings or you
Man,
know?
you're speaking my language, man. Like that's all I do, man. Not all I do, but when I do unwind and I'm definitely like chilling out, man. I'm Ancient Aliens in it, and all those different alien shows, man. I love that kind of stuff, and honestly, I do believe in aliens 100%, and I believe that they've been here for longer than maybe us, honestly, to be all honest with you. And I do think that they are almost amongst us already. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like I feel like certain people and certain things are almost like, I don't know, like outer worldly, how people act and how people, do things. It's kind of it's not of the normal of human nature or human beings in a sense. So I feel like I've definitely feel that aliens have infiltrated us. Yeah, 100%. And I do. Yeah, I believe in aliens.
Yeah, and I would say like the universe is so big. How can there not be other life somewhere else? You
Yeah.
know,
Have you seen
even
those
it.
videos that they show? Like, sorry for interrupting. But have you seen those videos that they
No.
show like the Earth, or like small, then it just like pans out and it just keeps like panning out, and
Yeah.
it's just like, and then it's just like, okay, and that's just the Milky Way galaxy. And you're just like,
Hmm.
like
Yeah.
what?
No.
Like you know what I mean? Like I've seen those videos that are like you're just going for seems like so like light years, or you know what I mean, like whatever
Hmm.
like the term is for that, but like, and then it's just like that's just one galaxy, and there are infinite galaxies in the universe. It's just like how could you not like think, or I don't know, like have that in the back of your mind, like that out of all the galaxies and how big the universe is, that we are the only like race in the whole thing. Like, man, like to think that, I just feel like is almost like very small minded. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not trying to like call people small minded or call
Yeah.
people out, but
Well, it's
like
like ignorant,
how
you
could you
know.
not believe that there are, and honestly, another thing too, to go on, what I don't even think that I'm the only version of myself in this whole entire universe. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I definitely think that there's probably other versions of me. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, not exactly the same, but I mean, do you know what I mean? Like of me and of my essence. Like I kind of believe it goes even that further. You know what I mean? Like honestly.
Like the I know multiverse is like
Mm-hmm.
a big old topic now with comic books and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Being the mainstream movie. You believe in like kind of like a multiverse, like maybe there's another Earth occupying our space, but maybe it's at a different frequency, and
What if
we
that's where Bigfoot comes from, bro?
yeah no
You know what I'm
like
saying? Like, I'm just saying, like, like, I don't know. I'm not trying to get on like the whole like Bigfoot stuff, but like,
like
what if like
Skinwalker
Bigfoot is like,
Skinwalker Ranch.
yeah, like, yeah, that's a good one as well, the Skinwalker Ranch. But like, what if Bigfoot's like this, you know, this anomaly that figured out how to, there's a planet of Bigfoot somewhere, you know what I mean? And
Hmm.
they kind of figured out how to like come back and come forward. That's why like, everybody like tries to search for Bigfoot and tries to like take pictures of him and like find him, but it's just like, it's like he was there and then he was fucking gone. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just like,
Hmm.
well, I mean, where did he fucking go? Like, you know what I mean? Like, where is he hiding? Like, has there ever been like a case of like anybody ever being like, yeah, we were out hiking and we found this like crazy fucking cave and we just like went inside, we had our flashlights and a camera, and we saw these Bigfoots just sleeping. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's never been like a case of like anybody ever like in the report. At least I'm not aware of. And like, I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to like sci-fi stuff. Like, just like any of that kind of stuff. Like ancient history and just all that stuff. But yeah, man, like it's wild out there. Like it's definitely with times and stuff. It opens up our perceptions a lot more to these kind of thoughts. And I just love like talking about it. You know what I mean? Like not saying that I'm 100% right. You know what I mean? I'm just saying
Oh yeah.
what I feel. You know what I mean? And I've had conversations with other people that are just kind of like, yo, you're like, I feel you, like you're speaking my language. Like, you know what I mean? Like we're like, I don't know where this is all coming from or how it's coming from, but it's definitely coming from somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, and it's stuff that you can speculate, and I mean, I wouldn't say it's not. To some people, it's crazy. It's crazy
Hmm.
talk. There can't be, but then it's like, well, how do you explain this or this
Right.
or this? It's not easy to explain. There are some things that are unexplainable, and you have to consider all options. Like
Right.
I said, Skinwalker Ranch, like the things that happen there. Maybe there's a frequency that other dimensional beings come through and do whatever they do, and then
Right.
leave.
It's
Like
like a portal, dude.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
it just happens to match like our vibrations. Or with people see ghosts. Like I don't believe in ghosts, or the paranormal, but I believe that there is like that energy there.
Sure.
So we could be like tuning into that frequency and seeing people from another like earth. Like that's
Right.
just not even parallel. It's like right in our same, occupying the same space, but just
Right.
vibrating at a different frequency. I believe a lot about that, like frequencies. Like even I was thinking, would you think like insects, crickets, they rub their legs together.
Hmm.
Do you think like if we had the machines, and I'm sure we do somewhere, where we could hear like insects, do you think they're creating like symphonies? You know what I mean? Like with the
They're definitely
buzzing.
communicating or something. I mean, they're definitely, sending some kind of like, it's almost like, I wonder if like when like crickets, like for example, like if there was one, like one house down the block and then one, like four houses down the block. And then I wonder how far, like if it's like trying to keep the frequency like together, you know what I mean? Like how, like to extend their sounds, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Almost like some kind of communication thing. I
Hmm.
don't know. I mean, like that's just kind of what came to me, but I was just yeah. I mean, like I think about that as well, like with like crickets and just animals in general, like making the sounds and making like what are they? Are they just communicating back and forth to each other? Are they, what are they saying? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like especially to me, like insects, or because they're buzzing or vibrating or anything. Again, it comes back to frequencies to me, and you wonder like if that little fly rubbing his legs is making some sort of violin sound, or
Right.
uh like a praying mantis, doing the same thing, just like a cricket. The noise, of course, we hear it just as a bug noise, but it could be music to them. I don't know, like
Right.
if we heard it a certain way.
Sure.
Uh, yeah, just it, I don't know. It gives me, I don't know, things to think about, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
uh, let me see. I think we talked about aliens, insects. Do you do like live shows? Like, are you on the like? I know COVID kind of like messed with all that, but do you do a lot of like live shows or uh?
We've done some, yeah. But we just kind of, for the most part, I just we just kind of just make music, and I just kind of just create it. But yes, I mean, I do play live shows, whenever we get like a chance and stuff like that. But that's not like my main, I guess, focus. To play live shows. I just want to create it because I feel like down the road I'll be able to perfect it better, and then I'll be able to, have a, uh, more diverse kind of show and stuff like that. Is kind of the game plan. You know what I mean? But we definitely we definitely try to like at least play or have like band practice or something with music like once every few weeks. But as far as shows, like, yeah, I mean, we definitely play some shows here and there.
Yeah, and kind of what do you I don't know, what are your like aspirations as far as music goes? Like what are I don't say what are your goals, but like what do you think, what are you trying to like reach for as far as I guess success, if you want to say that? Like what are your goals like musically, or are you going for art? Like what do you are trying to reach for? What's your goal?
I'm kind of like all over the board, kind of like how like with like my music styles and stuff like that. But I do a bunch of different like creation things. So like, if I work on like my art, like for instance, I just want to create unique pieces. Um, when it comes to like art, I really love like Leonardo da Vinci and like kind of like his kind of style, and it was just like his whole story of just like how he was like as a person. And I really like to like try to embody like Da Vinci, but like make my own version of Da Vinci. You know what I mean? Like in that kind of aspect. And as far as like the Evergreen state of conscious, it's one of me and my partner in business and in life. Her name's Riley. Shout out Riley. Um, and we create like one of a kind crystal jewelry, clothing, and then the artwork kind of coincides in there. But with like the jewelry and stuff, we have like healing aspects to them. We initially, like when we started, and we still do to this day, but we've cleansed like the crystals that we like pick. You know what I mean? We cleanse them in the Spokane River here in Spokane, Washington, and then we charge them, under the different moon phases, so they get that the energy from whatever that moon is portraying or shooting down to us, from the gallows. um, and that's another aspect of that. And as far as like the music, um, I just want to create like timeless creations. Um, I want to make like soundtracks like with just like all my music, or I want to make movies and like incorporate like the music into it, like so it's just like a full, like from beginning to end, like how I envision it to be. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. But I don't really have a goal as far as like music or like creations. I'm just grateful that I am able to channel and create. You know what I mean? Like I'm just in that place that I just wanted just to keep kind of going with what I'm doing. You know what I mean? And in a sense of having and being able to just kind of create. And I'm just kind of grateful for that opportunity, honestly, and just kind of just happy to just be here to be able to help people. And that's another thing too, is like, um, when we started Evergreen State of Conscious, we started to inspire, elevate, and shift the collective like consciousness, just in general. Like, there's so many people that we've helped, just on their journeys and just on their, awakening process, or their just growth, by just like sacred geometrical shapes in general, like the flower of life, or like Megatron's cube, or just different like things that have been used in like ancient times that I use a lot in my art. I mean, I use a lot of that, and each one of those has like a meaning and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So we kind of that's what we kind of created this. It's called Sacred Washington. It's like the state of Washington, because that's where we reside in. It's Washington State, and we created this thing called Sacred Washington that just has like the sacred geometry in the state, and we're just kind of, like I said, just kind of keeping with the momentum and just knowing that what we're doing, we were like sent here to do, almost like we were sent here to just kind of help rise and help shift um, into this transition of, wherever we are transitioning.
And you say spiritual healing. Uh, I'm a, I wouldn't say I'm a big believer of witchcraft.
Mm,
But my mother would do witchcraft. Right, she's the evil
sure.
person. I'll say
Okay.
that. So I've seen her do witchcraft.
Sure.
Do you believe in that sort of stuff? And is there like uh, any way to combat it?
I mean, I do definitely believe in that stuff, and like the example that you kind of brought up is there is like this energy, that's just this huge abundant thing of energy, and what you do with that energy, you can either choose to do good and choose to do it in a positive, I guess, way. You know what I mean? Like a way of kindness and a way of, not saying that your mom doesn't do it in that way, but there's also a way of taking that energy and using it as like selfishness, like
Hmm.
ego,
Hmm.
um,
Hmm.
doing it to spite people, doing it to hurt people, doing it just to, like, I don't know, just to not be kind. You know what I mean? So I do think that there's just different ways that you can take that energy and manipulate it.
Yeah, no, my mom definitely used it negatively.
Hmm.
she she would do it to spite my father that she
Did it work? I mean, do you have any
divorced.
like stories of like
I
any, like, I mean,
I
I'm just
mean,
saying, like, did any of it like,
the one story I always tell is she one time she went to, the witch, or whatever you want to call it, the bruja, as we call it
Bruja?
here.
Sure.
And the bruja told her to bring a frog, a frog, right?
Hmm.
And so they got the frog, and the bruja sewed the frog's eyes shut and said, "This represents your ex-husband. I'm gonna let him out into the wild, the frog, and it's basically saying your ex-husband, will have no eyes for anyone else but you, and can't be able to see." And not that he ended up like remarrying a woman, someone else, but he did lose one eye. Like
What?
he was it was after this, like, years, but he was sawing something, and he sawing a piece of metal, and he didn't have goggles on, and the littlest sliver of like metal went into his eye, hot metal, and it just made him go blind in that one eye.
Man,
And
that's still like, I mean, I'm just saying, if you take those, if you sit back and connect those dots, like, I mean, it's kind of ironic, right? Like, I'm just saying, like, it's like
yeah,
he did, it's like not both eyes but one eye, because he found somebody else, but they were like, and that's what I'm saying, like, they're like, well, we're just gonna do one of them, you know what I mean, not, we're not gonna do both of them or something like
yeah.
that, you know what I mean, like, I don't know, like, yeah, I'm just saying, like, it's just very, very, like,
No,
it's
it's
just crazy, yeah,
coincidental. It's
coincidental,
coincidental,
yeah,
and at the
yeah.
same time, like, and I've seen other weird shit. I remember, like, that she was turning like leaves into live caterpillars. Yeah,
What?
I don't remember why they were doing that. It was like, I don't know, just to show off her witchcraft skills or
Dang, man.
something. But yeah, now my mom, I mean, she had a stroke, and she's living like a hard life now, which I think she deserves, cuz she just is always negative. Her energy, she always puts out negative energy, and I think that's what she keeps getting from the world, which I believe is in what you're saying. Like, the energy you put into it is energy you get out of it. You know what I
Right,
mean? So if
right.
you're gonna put out all this negative shit, it's gonna come back to you. I
100%,
know,
man.
I deal with a lot of anxiety, like legit. I'm scared of everything. Like, my body's constantly afraid, and
Sure.
I don't know if it's my mom, putting a curse on me, because she wants to spite me. I don't know if the day she'll die, I'll suddenly feel better, But yeah, I don't know. What do you think about like mental health? Like, do you think that could be cured spiritually, or with, you know, like how you're saying it, more naturally, or do you think there's a place with for like the medicine and stuff like that, like, you know, pharmaceuticals, I guess you could say.
Right. I'm actually glad you asked that question. I've been thinking about that question the last couple like weeks because I used to be in the military. I was in the Coast Guard for just under 10 years. And I got out, and you know, um, I deal with PTSD. I'm diagnosed PTSD and anxiety and depressive disorders. I struggle with that daily, you know, multiple times daily, honestly, and that's another reason. It's like I found an outlet through like art and music and creation to kind of keep myself, um, I don't know, to keep my mind off of like the thoughts and like my mental health. You know what I mean? Like, so I feel like some people can take, you know, like the mental health and the anxiety and just like all the depression and just be like, you know what, fuck it. I'm not that, maybe you're not that strong or whatever, or want to choose different outlets. You know, a lot of people that I know like drink, you know, or do drugs or whatever. I'm not like saying that like it's bad or whatever, but I'm just saying like I'd rather come out of like a depressive state or an anxiety attack or you know, something that I'm like struggling with like, it's like almost like you talk about the multi dimensions, like going in multi dimension and coming back with like treats. You know what I mean? Like I like to use my stuff that I have going on with me to like, if I'm having a bad day, like I try to, you know, I'll go and I'll meditate so I can clear my head, try to clear my head because I don't want to go into creation with like that negative like energy or just down energy because like I said, I'm intentful with like everything that I create, and I make sure that I'm doing it, you know, for a gooder cause or for like a better reason, and not just doing it just for myself to do it.
Yeah.
So I feel that, you know, I mean, yeah, it's mental health is very very important, and I do think that spirituality, however different aspects of it, um, definitely is a positive tool to help. I'm not saying that that's like the end game, that like that once you obtain, you know, nirvana or whatever, that everything's going to be fine, because I don't really believe that, because there's always other people and just stuff, you know, that kind of can happen and
Of course.
transpire from that. But yeah, I mean, I definitely believe in, um you know, like on a normal day, I would like to, you know, I wake up and I go to the gym, and I'm not like a big heavy like lifter type of grunter type of person, you know. I use the gym as a tool that I need, because I know that like my mental health, um you know, is up and down all the time. So I use that as like a tool to like stretch, to do like yoga, and then, you know what I mean, sweat, you know, get those endorphins kind of popping through my body. You know, I'm not like going crazy running a marathon, because like honestly I don't think that I'm in that like state right now. But I mean, I definitely do things that help me without going into the pharmaceuticals, um, like medicine and stuff like that. And I like
Hmm.
natural, like neurotropic type of like medicine. And also, I believe in like steam showers and saunas and cold baths, like cold showers, ice baths, like any of that kind of stuff. And then breathing like exercises kind of help. That's something that I've like implemented in my
Hmm.
house with our kids. You know, like if they're having a bad day or like a situation, like one of the first things I do is I have them take their breaths, and I don't, and I make sure that they're just like just rushing, you know, like not even paying attention, like they're in tenfold breaths, like, you know, like slow in and out, you know, like calm yourself down. And I feel like that's the best. We have like all the tools within us to kind of calm us down or bring us up or all that. So it's just kind of finding that balance and finding whatever I guess works best for you to kind of keep you in the state, that is best for you. And with
Hmm.
pharmaceuticals, like I have been prescribed, I've been on like different medications, and honestly, I know for a fact that those medications, that when I was on them, that I was further away from where I knew that I was trying to get, if that makes any sense. like it would definitely numb me or put me in a place that I I wasn't where I needed to be. Like maybe I was numbed down and just kind of like, I don't know, just like not fully there. Like it's like almost like it took away like my antenna, if that makes any
Yeah,
sense. Like,
yeah. It numbed you to it. Like
right,
it's not solving the problem. It's just kind of
right,
ignoring it or something.
right.
You know.
And just becoming like one of like the masses and just like almost in that kind of like area. And it's just like, I can't go out of this bubble that's like put on me. It's like almost like, those tinfoil hats that people wear, like to try to keep like aliens away from their heads and stuff like that. It's almost like that's what that does. Like it puts that on your head and you can't like beam out or like have stuff beam into you because there's like this kind of like blocker.
It's like a
Um,
fog.
right,
Yeah,
right, right.
yeah, yeah,
Like a haze. Yep.
yeah. No, I get it. Like a mental fog that just you can't see through. You know.
Right, right.
No, and I was just thinking, just real quick about you said you put these crystals under the moon. What did you think about that strawberry moon? Was that around where I saw like an article about a pink moon that showed up? Was there
Yeah,
anything special about that?
I think that's just the first full moon of every month. I think they call it a strawberry moon.
Really?
Yeah. So like,
Uh,
I mean, but if I'm correct, I believe that that's what they call a strawberry moon. But there's, yeah, like there's different, different types of full moons, and different types of full moons come on different, different days, or different like different moons, I guess, if that makes any sense.
hmm No, definitely.
But yeah, I think
And
that
your
was just like a few days ago, like three days ago.
yeah, I saw an
Yeah.
article about it. I never heard of it because
Hmm.
I know people allergic to strawberries. I'm like, oh, that
Oh
sounds
yeah.
dangerous.
But yeah, each definitely, I mean, into that too. Like each of the moons, like in the different like full moons, like if you either Google or like look at different platforms or whatever, like each full moon does something different. Like there's different kind of energies, that each full moon can bring you, you know what I mean, and from like astrology and just stuff like that. So like it's not just like one full moon is going to do like everything for you. Like there's different there's different meanings and different types of full moons.
Yeah, and they give out different
Of energy. Yeah,
energies.
of energies. Yep, yep.
Yeah,
And
and
frequencies and all that kind of stuff too. Yep.
yeah, no, definitely. I've heard of that as far as astrology goes. I mean, I'm not a big believer of it because it's so vague. But then again,
Sure.
I'm here telling you that I know about witchcraft.
Right.
so
Yeah.
like I'm open to anything.
Yeah.
Essentially, you know what I
I
mean. If
definitely
I've
don't like base my life off of astrology, but I definitely am aware of it, and I definitely do kind of follow it. Um, and I feel like once, I don't know, it's like almost like horoscopy, or find like one horoscope that kind of works for you, and then it's just like once it starts happening like constantly, it's like you stop thinking that it is real or not real, and then it just kind of happens, and then you like look back at the days of like different horoscopes and you're just like, oh my gosh, this is
yeah,
crazy. Like what the, like this was this Saturday or last Saturday, and I had this happen to me, and I'm just like, putting the dots together. I'm just like, bro, how does that, like, you know what I mean, like how does
hmm
that make sense, that on that day, that my horoscope was this, and it says you're going to meet someone for a new project, you know what I mean? It's just like, how did that happen, you know what I mean? And if it actually like goes through. And I feel like with those synchronicities, like I've had a lot of those kind of in my life, and just in general with like,
hmm
like almost like thinking of somebody, like and then like that person calling you, you know what I mean, or like being with a group of people and we're like, oh man, we miss what's his name, I wish he was here with us, you know what I mean, like, oh, did anybody call him, did anybody invite him? And then literally like 30 seconds to a minute later, the phone fucking rings and
you
it's like him,
manifest
and we're
it.
just like, it's like the power of manifestation, though. It's like, there's manifestation, there's people that are really good at manifesting, but if you're like almost like manifestation by numbers, it's like, so it's like a group of, what I'm saying, like
Yeah,
if we
yeah,
were all like almost like
like a spirit
thinking,
bomb, like a
yeah,
spirit
like
bomb. Just
thinking
yeah.
of like this person, and then it's just how do you explain that? Like coincidence? Sure. I mean, you could say that, and I'm not
hmm
saying that it's not coincidence, but I've had these type of coincidence happen to me like throughout my whole life. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like that I can at least name, like, just numerous ones that I've had, like just different things like that happen. Like you're thinking of something that day, and then it's like delivered, or like you're, for instance, like you're thinking of, like, I don't know, I'm not saying like a cheeseburger or whatever, but like for example, like you're thinking of a cheeseburger, you're like dreaming of a cheeseburger, and then like you're just like, oh, all day like just thinking of a cheeseburger, just fucking hard, like you're just like not trying to think of this cheeseburger, you know what I mean? But this cheeseburger keeps coming. You're just like Homer over here, just like drooling, like ah. And then later on that night, like someone come and surprise you. It's like, oh, I had this extra cheeseburger, or my Grubhub brought me two fucking orders. Like I've had that shit happen. My neighbor's like, my Grubhub's brought me like two orders or whatever, and here's a cheeseburger for you. I'm just like, shut up, dude. Like what? Like really? Like like,
Yeah.
and I've had that happen like a lot of times in my life. You know what I mean? And it's just kind of crazy just to kind of go into that realm and like think that that's like, I mean, I'm not saying that's the right or wrong way, but like being able to like operate in that realm, man, it seems like it's almost like the universe is like always on your side and conspiring in your favor in a sense. Like
Mhm.
if you're like aware and like in tune. So it's kind of like a weird ride. And like I said, I haven't always kind of been like this. You know what I mean? Like I said, I was in the military for right under 10 years, and like I was not really like a militant type of person anyway, though, like going into the military, but I always just thought that the Coast Guard was, kind of cool. You know what I mean? Like driving boats and doing like search and rescue and like law enforcement, and just got to experience some really cool places and like got to travel and stuff like that. So I'm grateful that I got to like do something like that. You know what I mean? But like, I don't know. I just feel like once you've tapped in and you're into this like realm, that
Mhm.
it's like almost like there's no other way in a sense.
Yeah, you're in
Mhm. Yeah, yeah,
it.
like you're in it, you know what I mean? And you're just like, okay, if I'm better and I do better and I do good, and through like them I am, and like things like that way, then it just kind of always works out. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That's another thing too, is I'm part of this it's like a musical group, but we started during COVID. We we find bands, local bands around the Spokane area, and we find like just cool like locations, just places that you wouldn't really like typically see like a band play a concert at, and we set them up full production, um, and we record them doing their set, from the beginning to the end. Like there's no stoppage, like it's like a full like a concert, but they're just playing to like the production team, just like us. It's me and a few guys, most of the time. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But sometimes like when we do those, and I've kind of like I've been in this ride of this adventure for since pretty much the first episode. Like I did the podcast of that first episode, and then I've kind of been with them ever since. But since like we've kind of done that and produced so many of these episodes, there's been so many of those like synchronistic things that just like sometimes things that you want to happen like don't happen, but they work out like better. And it's like almost like no matter what, it's just like if you go into like a production or you go into a thing just being like, you know what, this is going to work out the way that I anticipated to do or better, and it seems to like always like happen. And like it's like those synchronistic, like like the song's about to end or the set's about to end, the drummer's drumming, and he like hits it like right at the thing, and then there's like some kind of weird light or something that just like pops off or something like that. And that's happened probably like 8 or 9 times in these episodes of just like it ends just perfect. Or if like, like for instance, we did this one at the Spokane Pavilion. Are you familiar with Spokane, Washington at all?
No, I don't get out very much
Oh, okay.
at
Yeah.
all.
Well, there's this place called the Spokane Pavilion, and it's like this. It actually has a flower of life, which is like sacred geometry over the top, which is really really cool.
Mhm.
But we went and did a pop up like live from somewhere, like an artist. His name was Brother Nature, and we went up there. We set up. We had a drone. We did the set and everything. And right when we finished the set, we were literally packed up really quick, and we were walking. And right when we turned to walk down the stairs, security was coming up. You know what I mean? Like they were literally coming up, and I mean, I don't know if they were going to tell us that we couldn't do it, but they're definitely going to like interrupt a live performance. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
and it was just kind of like, whoa. That was like, since then, that was like I think our second episode I did. I was just like, all right, this is how it's gonna be. Like, let's just go. Like, let's just do this. Like, it's all gonna work out. Like, no matter what. Like, let's just push it and just keep believing that what we're creating and what we're doing, and just in general with everyone, like, just believe that what you're creating and what you're doing is the right path. You know, as long as you're like authentic to yourself and authentic to your craft and authentic to your trade or whatever it may be, as long as you know that you're putting out the best of you and know that it's going to get better too. Like, you're not, it's not just going to, you know, stay stagnant with like your creations and stuff like that. If you like believe in that and have like almost like a mindset of that, it just like keeps kind of like just kind of happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
it's like even if things don't go the way you specifically plan, it seems like the universe steers you still in that right direction.
right,
You know, even if it's just off by a little bit, like you said, you can have like something that was unplanned happen, but it made it better. You
right.
know, so it's what Bob Ross would call it, a happy accident. You know, a
Right.
happy little
And I love
accident.
those. Those are one of my favorite things ever, you know, and like
Yeah.
those happy accidents are just like, I don't even know if I would have thought that. Like, if I got to relive this, you know, that scene like 10 times, you know, like, would I
Hmm.
even thought of that? You know, would that
Yeah.
ever happened? You know, because it probably wouldn't have. You know what I mean? Like,
No,
everyone would have probably been different, you know,
you
different
can't
little happy
replicate it.
accidents. Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
It's just it happens spur of the moment. It's unreplicatable.
Right.
And this makes me think about, I don't know, like you're saying, you know, we manifest, things happen, stuff like that. Do you kind of like, how do you see about like free will and destiny? Like, do you think we have control over our destinies, or do you think they're already written somewhere, like with the astrology? You know, maybe predicting and all that. Do you think your destiny's already written? You know what I mean? Like it's already planned, or people's. You know?
I mean, I think that in like a, if thinking from like a positive standpoint, that I feel like it is like, maybe not necessarily planned like all the way, but like, I feel we are like our own worst enemies, like individually, of like what we do to kind of take us off that path, if that makes any sense. So it's like, maybe we all do have these paths that are already kind of like done, and it's just like us that like getting in each other's way or getting in our own way to prevent the actual path or the actual purpose of like your journey of unfolding, if that makes any sense.
Hmm. Yeah,
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't necessarily believe that, like, because I feel like you could change your path at any point. You know what I mean? But like, you just got to kind of listen to your intuition and your and your awareness, and just kind of follow that way without you know, swaying off course or swaying off your actual, you know, your actual direction.
yeah. No, I was just thinking about that because whenever, you know, like with astrology, destinies, it's written in the stars, or
Right.
however you might call it. As far as, I guess, last question here. As far as a soul, do you believe in like an afterlife, or where do you think our soul? Well, you believe in soul, right? Would Where do you think
Hmm.
our souls go after we die? Do you think they stay somewhere? Their energy? Is there an afterlife? Is it like the cartoons have, where it's clouds and angels? You know, what do you
Yeah.
think is in the afterlife?
I definitely, when I was younger, thought, you know, that like, once you die, you know, like heaven and hell. You know, I was raised Catholic,
Yeah, me
did
too.
Sunday service and did all, you know, my you know, confirmation and,
Hmm.
you know, all
Me
that
too.
stuff. I went through all that stuff, you know, and I even went to a Catholic school for a little bit. You know what I mean? So,
Mm.
um, and definitely was ingrained that idea that, you know, that heaven is just this cloudy place, you know, that's just, you're just super happy to be there, and um everything's just like great, like all your old family's there and you get to just hang out all day, you know what I mean? Like, and then hell is just like the worst place to go. You know, you don't want to go to fucking hell. Like, no one wants to go to hell. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and that's, you know, a good parenting tool too. Like, you want to go to heaven or you want to go to hell? It's like,
Yeah.
well, fuck, I don't want to go to hell. Like, I don't want to go there. Like, that
Yeah.
sounds fucking awful. Like, you know what I mean? Like, fire and just hot all the time. And have you ever seen Little Nicky?
No, I haven't
No,
seen
you
it.
should check out
No.
that movie. That's pretty funny. It has a really fun depiction of heaven and hell through Adam
Hmm.
Sandler. It's a good one. You should check it out. Um, but yeah, I do believe that our souls are like everlasting. I do believe that um it's not like necessarily a place, it's more of like a feeling. You know what I mean? Like it just kind of goes into like this like consciousness that kind of goes with like of energy that we all just kind of like, if you really, like if you think of what AI is doing and all these like computers and stuff like that, it's the version of that that's actually like real and like that we don't see, that's like natural. And like AI is creating what I feel is like heaven. Do you know what I mean? Or like what I believe heaven is, just like being in this, like you describe like multiverse, but being in this energy that is just constantly going, constantly, constantly moving, constantly changing, constantly evolving. Um, and that's kind of what I believe like heaven is, like a state of consciousness almost,
Yeah,
like a state of, a state of being.
yeah, and about reincarnation, do you think that's possible?
I think so. Yeah, I think and that's why I'm saying like, you brought up like insects and stuff like that, and it's just like, there's always that theory that like, what if, you know, the way you act in this life, determines what your reincarnation is in the next. So if you were like,
Hmm.
if you had a bad life in this life, but you had a good heart, the next life is going to give you, the life that you want. You know what I mean? And what if that's the case with like insects and like animals and different, like monkeys or crocodiles and stuff like that? And it's like goes into the, well, do they have consciousness? Are they like aware? Like, can they communicate? It's like, I don't really know, but I mean, I know that there's something in each one of those things. I mean, maybe because we can't, move ourselves and communicate. I mean, how do we know that they don't have ways of doing that? So I feel like
Yeah,
maybe even reincarnation in like animals or peoples, or what about even like soul reincarnations? Like what about like Da Vinci? Like what if, what if you tap into his, his energy, if you're like channeling one day or something like that, you're just kind of like thinking about Da Vinci really hard, maybe watch like a video on him, or like, just kind of like embody him. Like what if like that energy that's like all around us, like what if a little bit of that Da Vinci energy that he found, kind of comes into you, and that you kind of can be able to put that out. So like I definitely do believe in like reincarnation and like past lives. Um and I don't believe that once we are gone from this world, like I mean maybe my human form, my meat suit or whatever, might be, like there's not going to be another one of me, like this, what I mean? But like my soul is going to like live forever. Like I definitely believe that.
No, yeah, I could see that. Just the idea of energy, energy's all around us. It can't
Right.
be destroyed. Like it just moves from one place to another. That's
Definitely.
scientific fact, I believe. Yeah, no, I think that's pretty good. I wanted to ask you one more thing. Do you think there's hope for this Earth? Because I know with all the, how the world is right now, very political, and it's everybody's kind of against each other, and we're
Right.
already kind of planning to go to Mars and all that.
Right.
Do you think there's like hope for this planet? I don't know. I guess it could be my depressed state thinking that, very like, oh, the earth is doomed, with the doomsday clock and then all these
Right.
negative news, and then, oh, let's talk about inhabiting Mars. So like, do you think there's like hope for Earth, you know?
I mean, I'm optimistic. I believe so, yes. But I also do believe that with, you know, like AI and like all the like that technology stuff is definitely gonna make it harder, and make, just technology. This is technology age. It's definitely making everything harder and less believable. You know what I mean? Like a lot of stuff is like, if anything can be replicated, you know what I mean? Like, and then like with those voices of like the AI stuff, like, dude, like some of that shit is crazy. Like,
Yeah.
you can get anybody to say anything, and like you write out a fucking paragraph, and they just grab little clips from, random times that they've ever spoke, and it just compiles it all together, and it's just like, what's real anymore? So I feel like that's such a big, I don't know, a big thing to like think of, and like a rabbit hole go down. You know, I've kind of gone down that rabbit hole a few times, and it's just like, I mean, I just want to be optimistic and believe that everything's going to be better. But it seems like, from I guess from my perspective, it seems like it's gotten worse. It's gotten a lot darker. It's gotten a lot more hateful. It's gotten a
Mhm.
lot more divided.
Mhm.
Um,
Definitely.
and it's just like we're supposed to be like away from all that stuff, you know. And it's like I felt when I was younger, maybe I was just more ignorant to it, and that may be the case, you know what I mean. But I didn't think that it was, you know, as bad as it was then. But you know, it's probably always been. But now with like a digital age, um it's anybody can just say anything by fucking typing a couple words and pressing fucking enter on their keyboard.
Mhm.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And
they're
it's just like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like that could wreck somebody for the rest of their fucking lives. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
that it amplifies a lot of the wrong
right.
voices.
And the
Yeah.
accessibility that it's just, you know, it's just pull out my phone while I'm taking a poop and ah ha ha, you suck. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
ha 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 ha. That's gonna teach them. It's just like, bro, like, what is that gonna do? That's like nothing. But it's just like a bunch of. I feel like our, you know, our consciousness is divided right now. You know what I mean? Like with a lot of hate and a lot of, you know, entitlement, like believing that like we're that, you know, America was built this way and it has to fucking stay this way. And if it's not this way, you're taking away my rights, and my rights are, you know, my rights are everything. And it's just like that's not the point. Like it's not that we're trying to take that people are trying to take away. We're just trying to, you know, cohabitate longer to make us and our, you know, our time on this earth, um, you know, more enjoyable and more meaningful for all the people that are involved. You know what I mean? Like, but I mean, I don't know. It's very tough times. You know what I mean? I don't foresee it um, getting like better anytime soon. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
COVID, like honestly, man, like I don't want to like talk about it. I really even don't even like saying that word, but it's just kind of it's like a dirty word. You know what I mean? Like I don't
Yeah.
know. Like I just it's just like some words I don't like to say. But during that time, man, I feel like that shift, like whatever happened during that thing, it's like it changed us like so much, like humanity and just people in general. Like it that was like, you know, if you're waiting for like a shift, like if you think about it in like a bigger picture, like that was a shift, man. Like everybody was in fucking panic mode and thinking the, you know, like it's like the world's gonna end, and then it's just like how far are people gonna take it on that, you know, the world's gonna end, like, you know what I mean, like is it gonna be chaos? Like I've seen some crazy videos of people going fucking nuts, dude, for, you know, nuts or whatever fucking things from grocery stores or just anything. Like
Mhm.
it's just it's like it's like we have no limits anymore. Like the boundaries have been like broken. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's just like I don't know. It's just like opened like a can for us to be able to for humanity just to kind of do whatever they want, whenever they want, however they want, and as unauthentic as they want as well. Because some of that stuff is just kind of not really truly to like ourselves and like our beings like as people.
Yeah, we should be we're all the same. We should be
Right.
working together to build society, make it better as a
Right.
community. We should
Instead
all
of
be a
divide us.
community.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, but of course that's the world.
Mm.
It's whether it's a political agenda or you know, people, anything. I don't know. Of course I don't want to get into that. I was just
No, no, you're
in
good.
your
And
yeah
another thing is too, just on that, we can't you can't change somebody's mind. Do you know what I mean? And
yeah
if you try to, you're like an asshole or you're a know-it-all or you're, you know, I don't know, you I don't know, you just different things that they could, you know, they tell you for you trying to like, you know, explaining stuff or just being different. You know what I mean? Like it's just you can't tell people, especially like older generations, you can't like it's like you almost have to walk on eggshells. You ever meet people like that, or like parents or
yeah
like
yeah
family that's just like they're like it's like I'm just they like say like a super racist joke or something. And they're just like, oh, I'm just kidding. It's just like, bro, you say that all the fucking time, like, and then you just say, I'm just kidding, like, you know, that's not true. It's just like if you like it's coming from somewhere, like, you know what I mean, like, and it's just like
yeah
those type of people. You're never going to be able to change that in them. You know what I mean? So it's like almost better to just kind of radiate that energy of what you want the world to be. You know what I mean? Like, and hopefully that comes back to you, and hopefully in your realm of your, your area of your, you know, your radius of people, it
Hmm.
kind of changes that, like your neighbors, like if you want to change the world, like help your neighbors, you know what I mean? Help the ones next to you, or
Hmm.
whoever, like because then at the end of the day, you come home and everything's like, you feel safe and everybody's happy and you guys are all getting along. You don't have to like worry about anything. It's like this person's watching my back when I'm gone and I'm watching their shit. If I see like a weird car or something weird, like, like, and that's like the idea of community, like build on that, you know what I mean? And I
Hmm.
feel like that's just kind of what I'm about and what I want to embody as like a person,
Yeah, no, I would say definitely like just whatever is your immediate circle,
Right.
keep, like, because I like, it's not going to affect me if a person across the United States on Twitter says the earth is flat and
Right.
I don't agree with him. Why
Mhm.
am I going to like go into an argument and change his mind when it doesn't affect my family whatsoever,
Yeah, but it
so
happens. But it
oh
happens
yeah,
out there, and
oh
people
yeah,
get fucking crazy about it. You know what I'm
people
saying?
lose their
Like
minds, and
lose their shit.
it's like if it doesn't, to me, if it doesn't immediately affect my immediate family,
Right.
I it doesn't make a difference to me whether you believe whatever with guns or fucking
Right.
the earth or whatever,
Right. And it's like the
but
news. Like I don't even watch the news. Like I can't, because I feel like when I was younger, like I didn't even realize it. But when I would watch the news, like I'd wake up in the morning and like my mom would have the news on or whatever, and I'd watch the news, and it's just like you hear all this fucking shitty stuff that happens in the world, and then you go to school and you're just like, why am I thinking of this? Why do I feel so fucking like I'm an empath. Like I'm a
Mhm.
very empathetic person, and I definitely like know that now more. But it's just like, why am I like, it's just like I'm like sending these people energy. Like I'm just like, oh, I hope that person, like I see visualize their head and like my head, you know what I mean, or their face. I'm just like, oh, I hope it's, I hope they're okay. But it's just like starting your day, or you know, it's mainly just starting your day with just like negative stuff. Gonna it's not gonna go into a positive direction. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
it's gonna,
yeah,
and especially if you let it affect you, just like, like you were saying, like if you let it affect you, man, that it could wreck you. Like it could literally wreck you, and it could literally control your life. Like, you know what I mean? Like I know people that wake up every single day and turn on the news, and they have to know like what's going on. And it's just like, what are you gonna do? Like the only thing that it can do is affect you. Like you can't do anything to change anything that happened. And then you start dwelling on it, and it's just like at the end of the day, like there's literally nothing you can do besides be a better person. Do you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Be kind to the
exactly,
world. Like love your partner more that day. Love
yeah,
give your kids like a bigger hug. Tell them you love them. Like surprise them with something. Like that's what you can do. You know what I mean? You can't do anything to change anything, because like I mean that goes back into your thing about like, do you think that things are just supposed to have, or like already our paths are already kind of paved out? Like I don't know, but it definitely, it definitely could be. I don't know. It's just such a trip, like thinking about that and going down those rabbit holes and just talking about, you know, stuff that's not really typical, but like in a sense, like the most typical, like the most thing that makes the most sense. You know what I mean? But it's like
yeah.
it's just weird. Like it's such a weird, like just topics and stuff like that. I mean, it's
N-
just like
No, the world's real topsy turvy. The way
right,
like logic isn't logic anymore, and it's more about feeling. I don't know. It's a strange world we're
for
in right
sure.
now, and yeah, like I said, if it doesn't affect my immediate family, you could believe whatever you want, think whatever you want. I'm not gonna argue with you because yeah,
Right.
like you said, there's no like changing people's minds. Like
Mm-mm.
maybe you could change their mind if you try hard enough, but what will you feel? Will you feel any
Right.
better? You know what I mean?
Right. No. Right. 100%, man.
Yeah. But no, well, thank you for being on today. I think we covered a lot of cool stuff. I don't know if you want to plug your business or your what is it, your Evergreen State of Consciousness
Yeah.
Northwest.
If you wouldn't mind, I'd like to plug a couple things.
Yeah.
These are all Instagram links. Check them out on Instagram. ESCNW stands for Evergreen State of Conscious, and that's local jewelry, clothing, artwork. If you want to follow my one of my bands, my project, it's Next Door Neighbors on Instagram, and also Live from Somewhere is a you should check out their concert series on YouTube. Just type in Live from Somewhere, and these are all local bands around the Spokane area that we've done productions on. They're actually really, really, really dope. You guys should totally check them out.
No, it's interesting. No, and again, thank you for your time. And yeah, I think it was a good conversation.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I looked at your Instagram like the other not yesterday, like the other day, and I saw, and you know, you're talking about those universal things. I forgot to tell you this. Like, I used to fucking love Salute Your Shorts when I was a kid. Like, fucking love that show. And I was scrolling through your shit, and I saw that it was I can't remember the actor's name, but the guy that played Donkey Lips, dude. And I was
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like, my mind was just like, "Lo, I'm like on this thing like with one of like I fucking like watch that show every single day, dude. Like that's what I'm saying. Like, see, like what how do you connect that? Like, is that weird? Is that a coincidence? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I'm just saying, like, dude, like I've had conversations of that show. Like, I know the theme song. Like, I've had a
Mhm.
shirt that said Camp on Awana. Like, it's nuts. Like, and I'm just saying, like, that's the life that like I feel like we're going to. And if you're into that like realm, like stuff like that happens more. Those synchronicities that you're just like, I couldn't write this shit. Do you know what I mean? Like that's the stuff that AI can't do. It's this kind
Yeah.
of, you know, that kind of stuff. You know, like it'll never ever ever tap anything of being in that frequency and in tune with what the universe is providing.
Yeah, it's almost
Mhm.
eerie, but
It's nuts, man. But
it's
yeah,
eerie, but it's in
I'm
a
so
good way.
stoked. Yeah, I'm stoked that I got to be on. You know, after, or I don't know if I'm the next one or whatever, but after that guy, man, that's so dope. Like I'm just, it's just the small things in life that just make me like super happy. Like that's the most stoked thing that I was for this whole like thing. I was like, no fucking way. Like
Yeah,
that's
he
just
was
dope,
cool.
man.
I didn't
Yeah,
know
that's
it was
awesome.
gonna go. If you saw the interview, I didn't know it was gonna go the way it went.
Yeah,
But he's a cool cat, and yeah, I love Salute Your Shorts growing up
for
too.
sure. Yeah, that's dope,
So
man.
that was, yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
But yeah, I want to thank you again for being on, and yeah, definitely see about doing something else later on again.
man, that'd be dope. I
All
appreciate it,
right.
man. But thanks for taking the time to and thanks that it all worked out that I was able to come on here and talk to you. I appreciate you and thank you for your time, man.
Yeah, no, and thank everyone for listening. Yeah, so there's the Instagram on the bottom, the link tree, and the business's Evergreen State of Consciousness Northwest. Check
Yeah.
that out. And thank y'all. Take care.